Good morning, friends, and welcome to Natrinka. This is my podcast, sort of like my online journal for helping me manage my stash this year. So the purpose of this podcast, the reason I started it, was to keep a record and keep myself accountable for the stuff that I use and buy as far as yarn and fiber are concerned. So welcome. This is episode 3. It is January 30th. So the next episode, I will go through some numbers about stash that I've acquired and stash that I've used. My plan is to be in keeping sort of with the Knit Girls, so that when I do the stash dash in the summer, if they do it again, it will sort of correlate, is to track in and out in meters. And my goal for this year is to have fewer meters in than out. So I thought about keeping track with skeins, like how many skeins I use, but I knit from my scraps and my leftovers a lot, so that doesn't really work for me. So I am going to be keeping track of meters. In some cases, it might be estimated. If I don't know the meterage of a specific yarn and I can't figure it out, then like if it's a fingering yarn, I'll probably take an average between like 400 and 460 or something like that, which seems to be the general range of fingering weight yards. So then I would have to translate it into meters because, you know, I'm not very fluent in the metric system. Anyway, welcome. So today I've got a couple of finished objects. I've got a heck ton of whips, which I will talk about because they're not making me feel great. And then some just stuff, school stuff and home stuff and birthday stuff and sick stuff and all that kind of stuff. I want to say thank you. Last week, the last episode, you know, it was a sad time and blah. It wasn't good. It was not a good time. I should probably have put that episode off. It was really stressful. I had a really stressful work week, and then our puppy stress, and Dan and Sarah were out of town, so it was just me and Patty holding down the fort. And me and Patty are good at random and impulsive grocery shopping, less good at fort holding down. So that's okay. All right, so I'd like to start with my whips, and I have five whips, which is a lot for me. I have some anxiety around this, and I think part of it is because I feel like this sort of feeds into my ADHD and my anxiety and all of these things, where I can do a whole lot of work and feel like I have done nothing when I look. So we're going to look at the whips that I have, and I'm going to sort of tell you the plans that I have for them. So the first whip is a temperature blanket, and I am doing this just out of like Red Heart, Mainstay, Threads and Loops, or Loops and Threads, whichever way it goes, I don't remember. Just super cheapy yarn. And the reason is because I don't know if I'm going to stick with this, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on yarn that I am not going to stick with the project. And also this will go, you know, with these yarns, they're so thick, you get a lot of bang for your buck. So originally I was knitting this, and I was just knitting a garter stitch blanket with, you know, slipping the 3 stitches at the end, so it created sort of that I-cord looking edge, and I hated it. I hated every friggin' second of it. So yesterday I decided to rip out the blanket, and I decided that I'm going to make 12 granny squares. And every month will have its own granny square, and then I will seam them all together, put a little bit of a scalloped edge on it at the end of the year, and we will have a blanket. And then I was thinking, well, not all the months are the same length. So what I'm going to do is every square will have 31, arounds. And if like something like February, which is only 28 days this year, I will use like gray or some other neutral color to make up for the skein. So this is, because I ripped it out, let's see, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the first 8 days of January. It was rather warm when it started. It got colder, a little bit warmer, colder, and then a lot colder. I don't know. I think it's pretty. I think it'll be cool as it gets warmer, the way that I've laid the colors out. It will be yellows and oranges and reds. And if we get above 95, I have it as a black now, but I do have a burgundy yarn, which maybe I will use, and then I will use the black to do the makeup and the trim and all of that stuff, and then I don't have to buy a skein of gray yarn. So I'm sort of playing with that idea. I don't really love the burgundy color, but then I use it and it's out of my stash, and I can't imagine we're going to have a whole lot of days that are over 95. But anyway, so this will be the first square. Yeah, and I like granny squares, although it's going to be friggin' enormous by the time it's done because it'll be 31 rounds and this is only 8 rounds. But, the whole blanket will be made with 12 squares. That's it. I'm using an H hook, an I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. And I don't know, this is like a boy or something, BOYE, just I probably bought this at Michael's or Walmart. So I don't really crochet enough to invest in super nice needles. I have one super nice needle that it's not a super nice needle, but it's the nicest one that I have that I use for Sarah's scrappy blanket. It's little, it's like a G hook, I think. Anyway, so this will be an ongoing whip for the whole year, and it'll be easy to make up. It's gonna start off super easy, and then as it goes on, it'll take longer, clearly, because the stripes will get longer. All right, so the next project I have is Dan's muscle burr hat. I think it's by Isolde Teague, and I have gotten past the increases, and my gauge, like the smallest or biggest, whichever way, I don't know which way it goes, but is 7 stitches to the inch, and I got 8 stitches to the inch. So I am making an extra large hat for Dan. I don't care if it's a little too big, but I super don't want it to be too small. And the yarn that I'm using is from, did I already lose the tag? Oh no, look. I put the tag in the middle of the ball. Sometimes I surprise myself. And this is from Haute Knit Yarns. And it is the colorway Summer Squash or Zucchini. It's a fingering weight yarn, and it's 463 yards for 100 grams. And anybody who knows my husband knows that in the summertime, he is a gardener extraordinaire. And one of the things that he grows a lot of are squash. So summer squash, the yellow ones, and zucchinis. So when I saw this yarn, I thought I must purchase this for him. And I was going to make socks. I don't know that I did make him one pair of socks. I don't think he likes hand knit socks. I think they're too warm for him. So he asked me for a hat, and I said, sure, I can make you a hat. So this is how it's coming out. It's going to pool like that, I think. These are where all the increases are. So it's really pretty, and it's really nice yarn. I have a ton of Haute Knit yarn, but I've not used any of it. So this is the first time, and I really like it. So I also really like my ball winder. You know, it's a lot easier than draping that skein across my knees and winding it into a ball, and I feel a little fancy when I set it up, and it's fun, and the cats are like totally mesmerized. I have to make sure that they do not try and eat the yarn. I'm having a cup of coffee in a beautiful mug that I bought at a store in Frederick, Maryland, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was sort of like an artist co-op where they had a lot of different artists and makers. They had t-shirts, they had clothes, they had bags, they had a ton of pottery types of stuff. And I don't know, I really like this. I like the contrast. And these are like scratchy versus not scratchy. Scratchy, not scratchy. And I am drinking some kind of donut blend from a K-cup that is either Walmart or Aldi. I don't know. I am a low bottom coffee drinker. I will, as long as it has caffeine and it's hot. I love all of you who love iced coffee. I think it's kind of terrible. So it's okay. We can agree to disagree. We can still be in each other's lives. We just will not talk about iced coffee. So this is my coffee. It's hot. It's black. It's unsweetened. It's literally from the machine. So that is how I drink my coffee. If anybody ever wanted to buy me coffee, it's pretty easy. You don't have to remember anything, just black. Okay, so the next whip is my mom's Temperance Shawl. And I know it looks like a thong. I know it's not a thong. It's a shawl. But these colors are just, I really like it. When I made mine, I'm looking because mine is right over there. Oh, maybe, hold on a second. When I made mine, and this is mine, and as you can see, it does not remain thong-like forever. It changes. But when I made mine, the contrast in colors were not as contrasty as I wanted them to be. So, but man, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and it's big and warm and squishy and all of the wonderful things. So this is way cooler color tone wise. Lots of cool colors. This is much warmer, which is my mom. My mom, when I saw these colors, I thought of her like immediately. So it is lettuce is the green. Botticelli red is the sort of orangey color. And then this sort of variegated is called Diana. These are all Malabrigo sock. And when I made this one, this twisted rib part was like the bane of my existence. I hated it. And this time, I think because in this one I was doing it as a knit along, and there was like a time frame, and this one there's not a time frame, and so I'm actually really enjoying the deliberateness and the slowness and the purposefulness, I guess, of the twisted rib. Because when I saw that it was purl through the back loop, I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this part. And it's not bothering me. It's not horrible. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And as you can see, this is where I was the last time I showed it to you. And I've done that much. So I'm going to I'll do it later. I'll move the thingy so that the next time we see you, we'll see how much progress I've made. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be finished. We'll see. All right, so the next whip that I have is my Night Shift Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I am in love with this shawl. The colors are just so beautiful, and it's thick and squishy, and you know, it's a really special one because Sarah gave me one of the balls of yarn and Patty gave me the other ball. And so when I wear this, when it is eventually finished, you know, it's like I'll have a little bit of both of them with me. So it's a really special one. This might be one that I keep at work so that I can just sort of wrap myself in it. The issue with this, I'm using Noro Ito. I don't remember the colors. The problem is, and I think I've said this, like there are definitely parts of this wool that are not well spun. I suspect, I was thinking about this because I was like, oh, this wool, blah, blah, blah. But I really think it's because I'm left-handed. And I taught myself how to knit from a book called like 1, 2, 3, You're Knitting or something like that. And in fact, when I first started knitting, I knit every stitch through the back loop because I didn't know that there was another way to do it until I went to a yarn store and they were like, hey, I went there because I was supposed to knit through the back loop and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And when I went in, the lady was like, well, you're knitting every stitch through the back loop. So she taught me how to knit correctly or through the front of the loop, and then I could do it. But I don't know if I've said this on here before, but when I knit, I am a thrower, but I throw with my left hand. So I wonder, and somebody said, oh, so you put the yarn around your needle counterclockwise, and I was like, yes. And I wonder if I'm untwisting the twist or I am affecting the twist. And as I sit here, I wonder if that should change the way that I spin. Because I spin in a clockwise and I ply in a counterclockwise. I'll have to think about that. All right, anyway, so Noro Ito, 2 different colors. I'll show you. I refer to this one as the red ball, and I refer to this one as the purple ball. And it's just, Noro is problematic for me in some ways, but also, my God, it's just so pretty. It's so beautiful, and the things that it does with color are just really fun and interesting and cool. So anyway, I really love this, and it's probably not going to be finished until for next year, but that's okay because I am just knitting and knitting and knitting. So what was that? 4, right? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. And so then the last project, which is also a new cast on. So the Muscle Burr was new this time, and this is new. And this is a blanket for a friend of mine who is having a little girl in March. And I am just using Lionbrand, Mandala, Baby. And this is the colorway Narnia. And I am using this because I think that when you give gifts for babies to non-knitters, you should not give people things that have to be hand washed or have special washing instructions. I think that's mean. Because when you have a new baby, like remembering how things have to be washed is pretty much the least of your, it's like the bottom of the priority list. So I like to give people things that are acrylic or washable cotton or something like that, because then you don't have to worry. I also worry about wool because I remember as a kid not liking wool. So I worry that, and I have friends who who could not wear a shawl like this because it would be irritating to their skin. So I don't want to make something for a baby out of wool if I don't know if they're not, you know, if they have a person in their life who's a knitter who's already making things for them that are wool, then that's a different story. But I am not going to give somebody something that has to be washed in a certain way or that maybe their baby can't wear. So this is Lionbrand Mandala Baby in the Narnia colorway. My issue is that every ball is different, and I don't. So I'm here with this ball, and it's going to go into this sort of peachy color, and I'm wondering if I should start the next ball on the peachy color and keep going. Like, do I try and continue the pattern, or do I just say screw it, different stripes, different sizes, all that? I'm not really sure. Also, there was a break in this yarn. There was a knot, so I don't know if that affected the color sequence and all that stuff. So I am trying to, as you can see, my lovely pins on here, I'm trying to do at least an inch a day, inch to an inch and a half, because I want this to be finished before March. So if I do that, it should be finished before March. I bring this one with me to school because one side is pretty easy, increases and decreases, and then the other side is just knit. So at recess time, at lunchtime, if the kids are writing or in math groups and they're playing a game, I can very easily put this bag on my arm and walk around and knit, and I can stop and check in and have conversations and, you know, do little teaching moments and then pick it right back up and keep on going. So I work on this at school. Also, when I have to go pick Patty up from school, I sit and listen to my podcast, which I'll talk about in a minute, and knit. So that's that. I got to figure out what to do once I finish with this ball, because I want it to look nice. I don't want it to look sloppy and gross. So I got to figure that out. That baby will also be getting a sweater and a hat. And once I start that, I think I have to finish something else before I can start that, but we'll see. So I also have two finished objects. Now, the first one is a spinning, and this was Laughing Cat Fibers, and it is Jacob wool. And I'll undo it here. It's really pretty. It's very pastel, which I don't normally gravitate toward pastels. Actually, I did not pick this out. Patty picked it out. It was at a show that we went to last Mother's Day in Ohio, maybe like the Great Lakes Fiber Festival or something like that. I don't remember. That was a terrible, we got hit by a deer on our way out, and then we had to go home, and then we tried to take Patty's car and the brakes weren't good, and then we had to take my car. It was very stressful getting there, but that's okay. Anyway, so I spun this on my electric eel. It's pretty fine. I find that when I spin on the electric spinner, my singles are very, very fine, and I have it cranked all the way up to the highest, or almost the highest tension, uptake kind of thing. I don't know. That's how I like to do it. And so when I spin on the electric, my yarn tends to be much finer. I also have this little, this took the whole bobbin. I have this, and then I have a tiny little bit of this very bright green because I very severely separated the halves, and so one was way more yarn than the other. So I still have on one bobbin a lot of green. And what I'm going to do is just I'm going to just wind it off on my Andean plying tool, and I'll apply it. And maybe, because Patty asked for a hat out of this, so maybe I'll use the green. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll knit the bulk of the hat out of this, and then I'll put some stripes in the ribbing or something like that. Just something fun and interesting. I mean, that's a lot of yarn, so I think it's not going to take the whole ball. So, all right. And then the last project is sort of a case of me being very impatient to finish these. So this is where I was the last time. So I knit this, and then I knit this, and you can see very clearly that there is like almost like probably a half inch longer on the first one than the second one. I don't care. I'm wearing them anyway. These were out of KFI Creations, a hand-painted yarn. They're DK weight socks. These are for me. I do a toe-up sock with a gusset from the Wendy Johnson, and you can, I don't know if you can see the gusset, but that is the pattern that I really like. And I think I said last time, I do not like Kitchenering. I do not like picking stitches up for the gusset. And I am not a tremendous fan of starting a rib in the round, because I'm always so afraid I'm going to like twist my stitches and then have to rip it all out. I don't know why. That is such a big deal for me, but it is. So anyway, so yeah, those are my finished objects. I made like a teeny tiny little list. So so this last 2 weeks was, Dan came home so happy. We had report cards at school, and let me tell you, I hate report cards more than almost any other part of my teaching job. I hate report cards. I am way better at talking to people than writing something down to tell you about your kid. I just am. But whatever. I got super sick. Like, I woke up in the middle of the night really sick, and then I had to call in sick for work, which I've never done before. Like, I had to call my teammate and be like, I don't have any plans for today. And that's not really true, but my plans I do in a slideshow, so there's nothing written. It's all in a slideshow and my brain. So she helped me out, and then I was sick the next day too. I took a COVID test. It wasn't COVID. I don't know what it was, but it was yucky and wretched. And then it was my birthday. So I am now 49. I got this lovely, very beautiful kitty cat necklace with a garnet from my children. Patty made me a beautiful picture, which I will try and put here. I don't know. If I don't put it there, then I'll show it to you next time. Yeah, it was such a nice day. Dan got me a really nice cake from our local bakery. We had Thai food for dinner. I really wanted a cheeseburger or a meatloaf sandwich. There's an ongoing saga with me and meatloaf. If you don't know, I love meatloaf so much, and no one else in my house will eat it. It's all right. I will forgive them. So we got Thai food because the place I wanted to get meatloaf sandwich from was closed, but that's okay because I had delicious panang curry. We went to Shepherdstown, which is a little local. It's not local. It's probably half hour from us. It's in West Virginia. And I got a very nice and fancy bar of soap. It's sandalwood. And so this is a thing about me. I do not wear makeup. I do not get my hair done. I don't buy jewelry. I don't get my eyebrows waxed. I don't do or don't go and get manicures. None of that stuff. None of that stuff is interesting to me. I really, really, really like fancy soap. So, you know, I will spend $10 on a bar of soap, and it's like, okay, this is a nice bar of soap. I like this. So, it's a weird thing about me that now you know. So I got myself a very nice fancy bar of soap. And yeah, it was a very, very nice day. Sarah came, we knit together. Yeah, it was just really chill, very relaxing, very nice. It was exactly the birthday that I wanted. I feel like as I get older, and also, you know, as my anxiety medication continues to work its miracles in my body, I am less and less, I have less and less anticipatory stress about big things. And the way that I express my anxiety is to become mean and frustrated and short-tempered and nasty. And so those are things that are not so much happening anymore, which is really good. So yeah, I did get some yarn this month, or since the last podcast. I am part of the Lolo Did It Outlander Club. So it's 12 months of Outlander yarn, and what I'm going to do is knit a DK sweater, a striped DK sweater with all of the colors in the order that I got them. So I have 3 months left. I have February, March, and April, and then I am done with that club, but I don't want to stop until I finish the club. So yeah, so that is yarn that I got since the last podcast. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I am listening to. So I used to be an avid reader, and I would devour books pretty much on the regular. And since the pandemic, I don't read as much, but what I have found is Audible. And so I listen a lot. So I am currently listening to a book called Daisy Jones and the Six, and I don't remember who wrote it because it's on my phone. I am not loving it. I'm not loving it. I have about 4 hours. I also listen to it on one. Like, I don't speed it up or slow it down typically, but I may speed it up just to get through, just to find out, because I am also the kind of person that doesn't like to abandon books because I like to know how they end. I just listened to Go Tell the Bees I Am Gone by Diana Gabaldon, which is the 9th book in the Outlander series. And I did listen to that fast at the end because if I had had the physical book in my hands, I would have read the ending about halfway through. Just saying. I enjoy reading the ending on Diana Gabaldon's books because I need to know that everything is okay in that universe. There's only one book left, and that makes me a little bit nervous. But, you know, we'll get there when we get there. Also, in March, whoop, whoop, the new Outlander season is coming out. I love Outlander. I was watching some last night, actually. I watched last night the season 3 episode where Claire comes back and surprises Jamie in the print shop. Oh, I love Outlander. I know not everybody does, but I do. I love it so much. Okay, anyway, and then the podcasts I'm listening to, I've been listening to 2. The first one is You're Wrong About with Sarah Marshall and Michael Hobbs, and I really like that one a lot. And then the second one is Maintenance Phase with Aubrey Gordon and Michael Hobbs, and I would like to be BFFs with Aubrey Gordon and Michael Hobbs because I think they are hilarious, and they are, you know, Aubrey Gordon, her casual use of blasphemy just makes my heart so happy. It makes it so happy. So I just enjoy them tremendously, and I really appreciate it, and I really like the things they talk about, and I learn a lot, and I am a firm believer in the fact that you you know, take what you want and you leave the rest behind. But it is very thought-provoking. And thought-provoking is important because, yeah, if you are never, if you know, you need to challenge your beliefs. And that doesn't mean that they're going to go away or you're going to change your mind. But I feel like when you challenge your beliefs, you are, you're either saying, hey, what I thought was true is not true. And maybe now I need to do a little research and figure out some other stuff. Or it makes you say, yeah, I am affirmed in my thinking, and I will continue to think this way. And in fact, this challenge has made me feel even stronger in my thinking. Now, I say this assuming that we all are basing our opinions and thoughts on fact. Just put that out there. Anyway. All right, so for next time, I think my goal is to finish the muscle burr hat. And could you imagine if I finished that baby blanket? I would be very, very happy. So I think those are going to be my goals, and I will probably have the sweater for the baby cast on. What else? And do a little bit more spinning. Yesterday, this is a very long video, I'm sorry. Yesterday, I felt this really strong urge to go shopping for yarn or fiber. And so I organized the fiber and yarn that I have, and that cured me of that desire. So I'd like to pick out a bag of fiber and spin it. And I'd like to do I think I'm going to do a chain ply. I think that's my goal, is to find a really beautiful kind of color gradation and then chain ply it to keep the color. So yeah, so that's my goal for next time. If you are still here, thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram at knitting_teacher. And I'm on Ravelry as Mom Teach Knit. It's one whole word. And yeah, that's where I am. And thank you guys so much. I hope this was a happier episode. I feel happier this time than last time. Last time was super sad. This time is not so sad. I've also had like several cups of coffee. Possibly be part of it. Anyway, happy knitting. I'm not going to steal Lefty Knitter's tagline, even though it's so good. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Yeah, and I will see you next time.